It does like an emotional thing to you. I feel the same way about the little, what reminds me of like a Nintendo DS or something, which is this like arpeggiated organ.
I love this. I think this does so much for
the
song.
It plays so quietly. It just kind of peeks out when the vocal goes away. It sounds fake, sounds like a toy.
It makes me barf. It's like so sentimental feeling.
I really wanted the whole thing to sound like Animal Crossing. I think that was a big...
I am Billie Eilish.
I'm Phineas.
And we are going to be showing you how we made the song, What Was I Made For? It was one of the fastest songs we've ever written. Once we got that first verse and that line, just what was I made for, I think we were both like, it was a good vibe. And it was honestly like a half hour that it took to do that. Made for.
This is like one of 4 cases total in our career where we've made something and to then kind of submit to people. It's a different way of making music because
you're auditioning.
Yeah, it's just definitely an audition, and all we had was a voice memo. Our main concern was we can't send them this voice memo because it was rough, but there was something about it that was cool.
It was pretty special. I used to know, but I'm not sure now what I was made for. It is top 3 hardest songs I've ever had to record. It's not even that it's high. It is high in my range, but it's not about that. It's about the delivery. I was trying to do a very specific thing with my voice, which was this like very soft, held back, you know, upper range falsetto, whereas I could have belted it, I could have sung it more out, I could have sung it in like more of a choral, like choir type da 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 da, and instead it was like a da 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 da. I used to float. It's really hard to do. Like honestly, it's really hard to do. It's really hard to sound good and be enunciating the words correctly and enough.
I remember that being a big part of the song was making sure that it was intelligible.
I wanted you to understand what I was saying. Could have literally done like a, I used to float and now but that's not what the song wanted, you know? And I could have gone, I used to float. There's so many ways I could have sung it, but none of it worked the way that this kind of heartbroken, almost like you were just crying and now you're singing delivery was, and it was the hardest choice of all of the choices I could have made. I had this exact vision for what I wanted it to sound like, and I got it there, and I feel really proud. I think it's one of the best, if I can be honest, and self whatever, I feel like it's one of my best vocal performances I've ever given.
But you were harsh about it. We'd do the whole vocal and comp it, and we'd be working on the production. She'd go home for the night, and she'd come back the next day, and she'd be like, I need to re-record this line, and this line.
Yeah. When I was starting out, I had one way of singing, and that's how I sang. And everything that I sang, I just sang it how I knew how to sing it. And now I have all these choices, and I can play with my instrument. Like I have an instrument now that I can play with, and it's really amazing, and it's really fun, but it's definitely hard. And I would say that I don't know how to feel was brutal, because it does that like, you know, ascending, cause I don't know how to feel. And it's so high and you're kind of sliding at the note. What is the key? Play it for a second.
C.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel.
That how. Oh, you guys, I must have done that shit like a gazillion times. I don't know. And the how to, oh my gosh. I'm so glad it's over. I'm so glad I recorded it and I don't have to record it again. The run was definitely tough. I think it was tough because it's in head voice, and for me, runs are much easier in kind of a lower register, in like a mid chest voice. That was the one that came to me initially, and I really wanted to do it, but I was like, I don't know if I can get this one. The second chorus was belted for a while, and that run was belted, and it just didn't sound right. It just was like, this isn't what it's supposed to be. But of course, it's much easier to do that. I was like, oh God, I have to do the soft you know. Okay.
Nice, dude.
I think I'm good. That run, it's intricate. What is it? Cause I don't. It's fast. It's soft. It's back here. It's not forward.
Billie's ability to double track is really amazing. There's like micro rhythms when you're double tracking of where each syllable and pitch ends and begins on the lead vocal that you've tracked. And oftentimes, especially the way that Billie sings is a little jazzy. So oftentimes her delivery is behind the beat or rushing and then behind the beat.
Very purposeful.
It is, but it's hard to double.
It's hard to replicate.
If you sing in a very sort of like common time, all the notes start on the downbeat, that's much easier to double. And she's doing really jazzy, intricate stuff.
Made me miserable.
To even double that is really challenging, and she'll just go after it and crush that. And then she's able to do it when she harmonizes too, and she's got a big range.
I don't know how to feel.
And that's playing at the same time as
Can you
the
play
lead.
it with that lead though?
I don't know how to feel.
So even her vibrato is
I try to
on the
match it all
same
up.
rhythm as
The breaths are all matched up. The vibrato is all matched up.
I don't know how to feel.
So that's 3 takes at once.
Someday I must.
This is just the lead, that
yeah.
line.
You can barely hear it. You can kind of just feel it in the imaging of it. And there's a plugin called Vocal Line that will analyze a waveform and stretch it and contract it. And I've never used it once with Billie.
'Cause I don't know how to feel.
I think of sound in a very physical way. I think that sound has a weight to it. And I think that a perfect production is like a perfectly balanced set of scales. I'm just trying to keep the equilibrium. And I feel like generally I can feel innately when something is tipping the scale and sort of ruining the balance of everything. And it is all sort of like placing things really delicately and making sure that it holds. And then if it holds, maybe adding something else. But oftentimes, especially from a stereo perspective, it's like if something's going on over here, something's going on over here so that it balances. I've gone on record as saying this, but like the fantasy is that your vocal is unbelievable and the one instrument playing along to it, the piano or the guitar, is great. And that it's, you know, you're like Bob Dylan and it's just that. The art of production to me is just to enhance the emotionality. It isn't to gild a lily or something. So we just tried to be inventive and add to the sort of narrative components of it. One of my favorite components of the production on this, I've spent a lot of time just handing Billie some instrument that's in my studio because I'm more interested in what she's going to do experimenting with it. She has less years of standing, you know, behind a keyboard on a stage than I do.
I don't really know what I'm doing.
And that's exciting. As a producer, the idea that they're going to come up with is so much less theoretical, and I love that. And so I have this toy, this little keyboard that Custom Vintage gave me.
It's literally like yellow. It's like toy colored yellow and red, like as if it was from Toys R Us. We had a patch on it, and I just was like fucking around.
And I ran it through a plugin called Sketch Cassette that I love that just fucked up the sound more, which made it feel really good. But she's mainly playing along to the melodies, and is so sad. Like, sorry. That's so sad.
I'm tired. Wait, keep it.
And here's how it's interacting with the lead. When it comes to production and recording instrumental parts, I'm much more interested in the first pass and the sort of guesswork that goes into that. I'd much less like to have her sort of sit there for hours and figure out exactly what she wants to play for the verse.
Yeah, the first
I want it
pass
to be
is
kind of
cool.
improvisational.
Mm-hmm. Play the like ending of that one.
Just the outro.
Yeah.
Be happy, something I'm not, but something
And it fades out.
can be, something I wait for.
But I had to boost it so much to even have you hear it just now. It's so quiet in the mix. Also underneath it are a bunch of ad-libs that she did, but they're so buried.
Ad-libs. Oh my God, I could do a whole interview about ad-libs. Nobody ever asks me about ad-libs. They make songs so special. You don't even know, dude.
But they're that quiet. They're so...
This one?
And again, under the lead.
I don't know how to feel.
Oh, I love that one.
I don't know how to feel. But some
Love it. Oh, it makes me so excited.
I had this idea for the one on the second half of the first verse when it says taking a drive. I love this is here.
Taking a drive.
I just wanted it to have this weird kind of euphoric thing happening. So I said, woo! And I recorded that. Do you want to hear what it sounds like with no plugins?
I forgot.
And then I ran it through an overdrive and a channel EQ and a reverb plugin. It sounds like this. And then I turned it way down and it plays at the same time as a big thumpy drum, a drum hitting, and also a bass starting, and the three of them together.
Taking a drive. Hours and ideal.
It does like an emotional thing to you. I feel the same way about the little, what reminds me of like a Nintendo DS or something, which is this like arpeggiated organ.
I love this. I think this does so much for the song.
It plays so quietly. It just kind of peaks out when the vocal goes away.
It's so nostalgic to me.
It's nostalgic. It sounds like it sounds fake. Sounds like a toy.
It makes me want to barf. It's like so sentimental.
Also, a bunch of Mellotron patches.
It reminds me of like Sims.
I really wanted the whole thing to sound like Animal Crossing. I think that was a big... There's some really, really distant, huge guitars. So cool.
I love that that's hidden underneath.
It's so funny producing music because when you record something like that, you inherently have to record it super loud because part of the way that a guitar sounds is the feedback. You have to record it loud enough that the pickup on the guitar is picking up the noise from the speaker. So you're playing your normal song and you're destroying your song with this like, you know, butt rock guitar part. And you know, as a producer that you're like, I'm going to chuck it as far in the background as humanly possible.
No one would ever like think that that's in there.
It adds
energy. So much, yeah.
There's just energy that's providing. And that's sort of that's like the physics of it. Of like, it would never sit in that song if we had it, you know, super loud.
Yeah. When we were writing this, we were very, very much writing about, you know, a character. And we were writing from the perspective of a character and her life and the way she sees the world through her eyes and her experiences. And it wasn't until like 2 days later that I was listening to it and I was like, this is me. This is my life and how I feel. And it was pretty weird to like not realize that my subconscious was doing that. And also just that I related a lot to this character.
I think it's an excuse to be a little braver than you might be willing if you are writing something that you know people are going to receive as autobiographical.
So true.
I think if you write a lyric like, I'm sad again, don't tell my boyfriend, and you know your boyfriend is going to hear it and think, Jesus Christ, that takes a different amount of courage than being like, that's Barbie.
Not about you. No, it's literally not about you. Yeah, no, it's a character. Yeah. That's what I was hitting that the next day.
I'm sad again. Don't tell my boyfriend. It's not what he's made for.
When we were with Greta, we saw the first 35, 40 minutes straight. That was edited at the time. And then we saw sort of key moments that she wanted us to see. And we were shown what at the time was the scene that the song ends up in, which is the now feel scene, which made me cry watching that. And at the time had no
music
montage.
Oh yeah, no montage.
Had no life montage, which I later found out is like footage of the crew and cast's family members, which is beautiful. But at the time it was just a one shot of Margot crying
in this like white room.
But we loved that moment in that line. And she had sort of said we're missing what she was referring to as Barbie's heart song.
Yeah.
So we had all that in the back of our minds when we went into write.
That pressure, like, almost doesn't exist when it's just us two, you know, in the studio in his house. Like, you know, we're eating like donuts and like making music and playing pickleball and stuff. It's just like the pressure of whoever the fat suits are. I don't know. Yeah, how do I quiet the noise? I'm not really listening.
This is
the
not,
team can
not
attest.
Not to throw Billie under the bus, but you're asking how she quiets the noise, and Billie's like, "What's going?
I don't know what the hell is going on. I
very little noise gets in there.
I have 1,461 unread texts right now. I'm not looking at that stuff. I never really questioned the song. I was like, is that enough of a chorus? Just like repeating cause I don't know how to feel. I just was like, don't know how to feel. Like, am I saying enough? Like, does that convey what I mean? And I think that it so did. I was just nervous that it wasn't, you know, saying enough, but in a way it was like saying way enough, you know? It was really the perfect, like, simple way to be like, I don't know what I'm doing, you know? I don't know how to feel. I don't. And I think that that's kind of one of the most special parts of the song is just this like simple like statement that somebody could just say. I've said that before in my life. I think all of us have probably been like, I don't know how to feel. And literally that she doesn't know how to feel, like physically.
We made the song early enough in the process of them scoring the film that after we'd written the song, they started using the melodies that we'd written for the song in the film score. And so there'd be scenes where there's an orchestra playing the melodies that are in this song in the film, kind of full circle, the orchestra that they'd recorded of the melodies of our song that they'd put in the movie. I was like, well, can we get a pass of the orchestra playing just sort of chords underneath the song so that it sort of ties all into the film score. This is like a breakout of like the orchestra stems. It's like a million microphones, but there's some horns. Mark or Andrew, who was his composing partner, he sent over like 4 tracks. He sent over like strings, horns, CS80, harp.
One of my favorite parts that he added is the ascending harp. Oh, every time it hits it, oh my God, it's really, I love that. The song means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. I think that it's hard to like listen to, I think. There's some things in this world that don't, like, they kind of don't stay yours, especially when they are consumed by the public and things like that. And I think that this song, no matter what happens with it, I think it'll always be mine. And I'll feel like it's right here because it is for me.
I think it's just about changing. And I think when you grow and when you change, it's sort of inherently an identity crisis. That sort of metamorphosis as a person, which is like the most cathartic, important part of living your life, and aging is also this like devastating experience and can really put you in crisis.
Growing up is scary.
Yeah, and growing up doesn't stop when you turn 18 or reach the height that you're going to be for the rest of your life. Growing up is just lived experience continuing to wash over you like waves on a beach until you're worn smooth like beach glass and then you die.
Jesus Christ.
And that's fine.